y que tú y yo olvidemos que somos amigos. Por un rato tú chillen, yo chillen, vamos a pasarla bien. Tú chillen, yo chillen.
Reggae music. Lentamente nos sube la nota, velas encendidas, botella y champán, dos copas.
No hay que se resista a tu rico olor, yo quiero ver más allá de tu ropa interior.
Entonces bailame lento, que yo quiero sentir tu cuerpo, ya que cerquita yo te tengo. Ven, aprovechemos el momento.
Báilame como sola con los labios el bebé. Lúcete, que así mismo fue como yo lo soñé.
And I can tell by the look in her eyes that she wants me. Yeah. So we drink till we drunk, now she calling me papi. No me importa lo que vaya a pasar, mami, mami. Excuse me, señorita, I wanna explain una cosita. Dime por qué tú eres tan bonita. You're sweeter than the melodies that's playing through my speakers. Tonight I'll be the student, baby, you can be my teacher.
¿Qué tienes tú que me gusta a mí? Tú me haces sentir bien chilling, baby. Tú me tienes sumergido en trance. Solo te pido un chance, un ratito contigo.
Entonces bailame lento, que yo quiero sentir tu cuerpo, ya que cerquita yo te tengo. Ven, aprovechemos el momento.
Báilame como sola con los labios el bebé. Lúcete, que así mismo fue como yo lo soñé. Tú chillen, yo chillen,
Voy a tell her, sir.
vamos a pasarla bien. Tú chillen, yo chillen,
And I know you know what to do, we are do.
báilame.
Yeah.
Todo estaba claro. Todo estaba claro entre los dos. Solo era sexo sin amor, pero cometimos el error. Nos enamoramos con pasión y sentí que eras tú mi princesa, la dueña de mi inspiración. Me siento en otro planeta, estoy pensando en ti. Me aloco con solo verte, que me beses así. Cuando yo estoy mal herido, tú me quitas las ganas, me devoras en mi cama y yo no dejo de pensar en ti y tenerte aquí. Y tú me quitas las ganas, me devoras en mi cama y yo no dejo de pensar en ti y tenerte aquí. A veces yo no sé si pierdo el tiempo, quítame esta confusión.
You are watching music videos, new movies, and live shows. Channel 9, only on the Belize Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to the Zenaida Moya Show, brought to you through the courtesy of Belize Electricity Limited, Zitra International, Universal Hardware, Craven's Restaurant, Rocky's Salon Studio, Moya Shepherd and Company Limited, Belize Broadcasting Network, The Nation's Channel 10, and Slingshot Advertising and Sign. I am your host, Zenaida Moya, and I want to invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this exciting, informative, and very empowering 1 hour of show that we will be bringing to you tonight. The objective of this show is to inform, educate, and empower you, our viewers. It's going to be balanced, objective, and it will touch and concern certain issues. There's a particular topic we'll be discussing tonight, but overall the show will be touching and concerning different areas, in particular business, culture, environment, laws, politics, the economy, and our society. It's going to be issues based on Belize, issues that are regional and international, but issues that affect our very livelihood. As an economist and a former head of department in the government service, a former elected official, and of course a former trade union leader, I feel that it is very important, it's imperative that we, a people, know about issues that are affecting us. That's the only way we will be able to make balanced, objective, and intelligent decisions and choices. My role will be to moderate these discussions. We'll be discussing topics that may be controversial at times, so we will be bringing in guest experts that may or may not share the same views. As a matter of fact, most often it will be opposing views that we will be hearing. But it will be done because we want to hear a balanced and objective view. It's not going to be kumbaya here on the show. We'll be having guests on different political parties, from different political parties. They may not even support any political party. They may be independent persons. But I want you to be a part of this national discourse, and I want you to be a part of even what comes on as a topic. I want to say that the views that will be discussed here will be the views from our guests, and not necessarily those of myself or of this network. All right, the first topic tonight, what we will be discussing, it's going to be a very important topic. It's a topic that has to do with trade. Now, trade might sound like something far-fetched to some, but no, it's bread and butter, and we are going to bring it on in a very easy manner. We're going to be showing very shortly, as a short 2.5 minute video clipping of US President-elect Donald Trump 100-day policy plan. In that policy plan that his presidential team aired, Donald Trump stated very clearly, he says, "My agenda will be a simple one, putting America first." He also stated several issues, but we will be discussing 2. The first issue we'll be discussing is the trade policy that he spoke of, in which he stated that he will be issuing a notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster, he says, for the USA. Instead, he says, he will be discussing fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto America's shores. Thereafter, he speaks about the immigration policy, another area that I'm sure Belizeans and Belizean Americans abroad will be very interested to hear. He says he will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. Tonight, we may delve into a little of that immigration policy, but because the topic of the trade policy is a big one, that's the one we will be focusing on. So, before we go on to airing that, I want to say that we're discussing this because the U.S. is a very important ally of Belize. To some, the U.S. may not be an ally to us. It all depends on who's talking. However, the U.S. is only a stone throw away. So when they talk about bilateral, Belize is right there as well. We share many things. We share economic and trade policies, trade agreements. We have thousands of Belizean Americans living in the U.S. They send transfers to Belize, to their families. U.S. citizens living in Belize, they are very important, and they invest. A lot of them are investors as well, or just citizens that have made Belize their home. There's legal and religious policies. I know one very dear to Professor Patrick Menzies, who I'll be introducing very shortly. These legal and religious policies, laws, and actions affect Belize. The U.S. television that streams into our living room. And of course, the illegal drug trafficking through Belize to the U.S. and the resulting drug-related violence that are caused as a result of it. They say when the U.S. sneezes, Belize catches a cold. And that is very true. According to the U.S. Department of State website, the U.S. is Belize's principal trading partner and major source of investment funds. The latest trade data in 2014 states that the U.S. exported more than U.S. $312 million of goods to Belize, accounting for 31% of Belize's total imports, and in return, accounting for over U.S. $105 million, or 34.8% of Belize's exports. That's some 185 U.S. companies that have operations in Belize. Tourism is one of the most foreign direct investment, and the U.S. investment is also found in telecommunications, petroleum, and agriculture. I want to now go to our guests. We have very eminent persons here with us. We have Professor Patrick Menzies. Patrick has been an adjunct professor at the University of Belize in IT, Information Technology, and MIS. He has also been an IT professor of DeVry University in Texas. He is the president of several NGOs based in Houston, Texas, Belize Corps Volunteer Organization, Belize CAN, Council for Belizeans Abroad, Patriotism at Work International. Patrick is an outspoken advocate, and he has been a foreign service officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, where he developed and coordinated the diaspora program for the country of Belize. People may not know this, but Patrick was also a recruiter, a bilingual instructor, and an aviation operations specialist in the U.S. Army. And he holds an MBA with distinction from Keller Graduate School of Management in Houston, Texas. He has a bachelor from DeVry University and an associate's degree from Central Texas College. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Thank you so much. It's an honor for me to be here.
Our next guest, again, my very good friend, my old classmate from St. John's Junior College, attorney and economist, Arthur Saldivar. starting in 1992. Arthur was the campaign manager for the late three-time era representative of the Belize Rural North constituency, Honorable Max Samuels. He was also the project manager for the Maxborough Community Housing Development Residential Project under the 1998 and 2008 People's United Party administration. He's a Fulbright scholar. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in economics, international policy, diplomacy, and law. Since 2008, Patrick has been in private practice. Arthur, sorry. Welcome to the show, Arthur.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
All right, so you've heard all of that. We are now going to play the message of President-elect Donald Trump. And then thereafter, we're going to hear a few words, a little overview on that particular video from our two guests.
Today, I would like to provide the American people with an update on the White House transition and our policy plans for the first 100 days. Our transition team is working very smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Truly great and talented men and women, patriots indeed, are being brought in, and many will soon be a part of our government, helping us to make America great again. My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers. As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time. These include the following. On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important. On national security, I will ask the Department of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop a comprehensive plan to protect America's vital infrastructure from cyber attacks and all other form of attacks. On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. On ethics reform, as part of our plan to drain the swamp, we will impose a 5-year ban on executive officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the administration, and a lifetime ban on executive officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. These are just a few of the steps we will take to reform Washington and rebuild our middle class. I will provide more updates in the coming days as we work together to make America great again for everyone.
Okay, you've just heard the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's 100-day policy plan. I'm going to ask our guests, you know what? I'm going to start with Professor Patrick Menzies. I want to hear his views. First of all, many of you may not know what exactly is the Trans-Pacific Partnership and how it can affect Belize. So I'm going to ask Patrick to say a little about what that partnership agreement is all about.
Well, again, thanks for being here, for inviting me here. And I just want to share a little bit of an overview, basically, of what the TPP is. Again, TPP is a Trans-Pacific Partnership. The TPP, basically, the reason why it's a big deal is because it's looking at 40% of the world's economy coming together and working out a trade plan that's between the U.S. and the other partners that got together. It includes the U.S., Japan, Malaysia, Vietnam, Singapore, Brunei, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, Chile, and Peru. Now, the reason why this is so important is because according to these big corporations, what this is doing is really breaking down the barriers to allow them to be able to expand in these other countries. Now, it's great for the corporations, but the reason why Donald Trump sees it as a threat is because you're looking at the Vietnam worker competing with the U.S. worker. And there is really a big deal there because the U.S. worker gets paid a whole lot more because his living expenses is a lot higher. And of course, his education costs him a whole lot more. So that's why this is really a big deal. I'm not going to get any further. I just want to give you an overview, an idea of the fact that you're looking at 40% of the world economy. That is a lot of money that's being played with or traded in this particular arrangement. So it's something we'll be talking about, and I just want to give an overview of it.
Thank you, Patrick. Arthur, give us your overview as well.
Well, as Patrick has outlined in relation to what TPP is about, it's basically an expansion of NAFTA to include these countries in the Asian Pacific. And what it basically is a big boon to corporations, really, to have them be able to operate within a larger economy of scale where it comes to labor in particular and in relation to resources. But outside of that, it also allows for corporations to undermine the environmental laws in various countries because it gives them, it gives them the ability to supersede. By virtue of the agreement, the laws that create restrictions on certain environmental abuses. So this is one of the problems also that the TPP poses. And it also opens up these individual countries to suits from corporations for any breaches that may occur in relation to any restrictions that may be imposed on the corporations in doing whatever they want to do. So it was more geared towards empowering corporations than empowering people. It was basically looking at the worker as an object to be exploited as opposed to resources to be developed. And this is where the problem lies.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Now, we will go to our first ad break. And when we return, we will discuss how this proposed U.S. withdrawal from this Trans-Pacific Partnership can affect Belize and Belizeans. Stay tuned.
Buying or selling land can be a daunting experience. Don't leave things to chance. When buying or selling land in Belize, seek the professional real estate services of Moya Shepherd and Company Limited. Benefit from our extensive local and international real estate network to find your dream home or to move your property from selling to sold. We are located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway. Give us a call at 223-4465 or visit us at www.realestatebz.com.
Everyone benefits when individuals, companies, and entire communities become energy conscious. Energy conservation and efficient energy use, the way towards a happy, healthy Belizean society. Belize Electricity Limited. Our mission is to provide reliable electricity at the lowest sustainable cost, stimulate national development, and improve the quality of life in Belize.
I just got tired of making someone else rich. It's time I do something for me. I was a bit nervous at first, but I went and I got all the equipment I needed at Universal Hardware. I know that even after sale, they will stay with me for the life of the equipment. I have a peace of mind with service and reliability, and more time with the family. Glad I did. Get the bragging rights you deserve. Visit Universal Hardware for sure.
This year's holiday holiday season, we're doubling reasons to share a chair and have some fun. Let's double your chair with Western Union. Double the laughter, double the feeling, double excitement, double the season. Start sending to your loved ones. Let's double your chair with Western Union.
Tis the season for sending and winning with Western Union. Send or receive any qualifying money transfer through December 31 and be automatically entered for a chance to win double your transaction amount up to a weekly $250 prize. This is doubling your Christmas cheer. This is Western Union, moving money for better. Complete rules at participating agent locations.
You are watching music videos, new movies, and live shows. Channel 9, only on the Belize Broadcasting Network.
To the Zenaida Moya Show. I am your host, Zenaida Moya, and I have here with us two very distinguished guests, attorney and economist Arthur Saldivar, Professor Patrick Menzies. All right, we just saw the video. We heard a brief overview about the Trans-Pacific Partnership that President-elect Donald Trump intends to withdraw the USA from. I want to bring it straight home to Belize. I want to hear from our guests how they feel that this can affect Belize and all Belizeans, if any at all.
Well, again, I think if we look in depth in what the TPP is, we're looking at a situation in which, again, the workforce in America is being compared or competing against the workforce in Vietnam, for example. Now, we're not dealing with knowledge workers. We're dealing with just the regular workers. Mostly you're talking about the regular labor force. And so you see a serious issue there. And I was looking at, and I was thinking while you guys were talking earlier, you know, the reality is that if you are from Vietnam, or one of those countries, and that's coming your way, it's a pretty good deal because now there are jobs. But the reason why Trump is after it and wants to nix it is because it is taking jobs from America. I mean, I don't, you know, if you're an American, okay, which, by the way, I am an American, I'm also a Belizean, so I did vote for Trump, and I have more enemies now than I ever did before, on Facebook especially, but anyway, as an American, you don't want your jobs to go somewhere else, and Belizeans that are living in the U.S. Will be or would have been affected by it because some Belizeans are in the regular labor force. We do have knowledge workers from Belize also, folks that are working in a more professional level. However, we do have a lot of Belizeans that are there working as laborers. And a lot of that would be moving out, like a lot of it has already moved out. I love Trump's idea. I really do. I think that just slamming these corporations for taking the jobs off American soil, is a great deal. And so a lot of them are already talking about coming back home. I wonder why. Okay, so they're seeing it. So how will it affect Belizeans? And like what you said earlier, Zenaida, you're talking about the diaspora. The diaspora means those that are scattered abroad. Belizeans that are scattered abroad in different countries, different diasporics we talk more right now, the U.S. diasporic will be directly affected. And it will also affect us home because if that situation was allowed to go forth, you're looking at, we claim, because of actual numbers, in Belize it is claimed that our number one income is tourism. But we believe that the real deal is that the number one income is remittances from Belizeans abroad. Belizeans abroad are sending funds home. We say, well, guess what? We don't have the numbers. We don't. The only numbers we have shows that the remittance is number 2. But that's because we don't know when the Belizeans come here with money in their pockets. That is not added up. They only add what goes through the system. So again, it would affect Belizeans at home, because if your brother, your uncle, your aunt, your papa, your mama ain't got a job, Baba, back in the U.S., then you're going to be starving back here if you're not working. So yes, it would affect us in a great way.
Right. There's another way that it affects us, and it's a little bit more localized. We, as a member of CARICOM, have the Treaty of Chaguaramas, and recently we had the issue where one of our businessmen, utilizing that treaty, imported rice to Belize from Guyana. Now, because he had imported the rice from Guyana without the proper permit, that rice was left at the port, and it was a big controversy, and I guess eventually had to send it back. Now, why I mention this? Well, because Guyana has a larger population than us. They produce cheaper agricultural products than we do. And we as a country cannot compete with Guyana in terms of our production of rice. Well, similarly, in the United States, Donald Trump went to Iowa and courted the Iowans, the people of Iowa. And Iowa is the largest rice producing state in the United States. And Vietnam, as you know, is the largest rice producing country in the world. So here it is that there are competing interests. There's no way that the Iowan farmer can compete with the Vietnamese farmer in producing rice. So it would mean then that Trump would have been undermining his very electoral base, his base of support, to agree and acquiesce to what was going on with TPP. He would have basically been putting a lot of Iowans out of work. So as many Belizeans are out of work today too. But we have to look at these things. We have to look at our own self-interest. Because if Vietnamese rice is put on the American market, and America is our biggest trading partner, then Vietnamese rice will find its way on the Belizean market. So our entire food supply could be undermined. So there are many other aspects of this issue that can be explored, and we need to critically look at it to ensure that we are not behind the 8 ball after it's implemented or whatever happens with it.
Yeah.
Well, again, I agree with that, and I do go back again to the basics. You know, the basics, because a lot of times Belizeans, you know, the reason I ask myself, you know, you had Brexit, then you have Make America Great Again. When is Belize going to do something? You know, the real deal is that we need to start looking out for ourselves. Right. And we're not there. You know, Belize has seen, and we're getting to the political area now. I'm not red nor blue, but I know that. But, you know, we're looking at a situation where we have seen, I am flabbergasted, we have seen so much trash at the highest level of government, and yet there is no uprising. I am baffled. I am baffled. Listen, I didn't vote for Trump because he's the best guy since sliced bread. Okay, I'm just being clear. But the reality on the ground is, as an American, we've had enough. And I didn't vote for Obama, by the way. I don't believe in people, the color of anybody's skin. The color of your skin isn't who you are. Who you are is what's inside there, so I don't play that game. But again, Obama did a lot of mess to America. And many folks may not agree, that's okay. But as an American myself, who served 15 years in the military, I was Sergeant of Army Aviation, I understand a great deal of politics in America because, as a matter of fact, I was also a Republican delegate at one time. I've never told anybody that, but I was. So the only politics I've been in is in the U.S., not in Belize. And so, but in Belize, I believe that it's time for Belizeans to wake up and smell the coffee. It is time for Belizeans to realize and recognize that if we don't defend our home, no one else will. Trump, in my view, is good for America. And we need somebody in Belize, or some of us in Belize, to rise up and stop the mess, whatever it takes. No one thought that Trump was going to do what he did. No one expected him to win. And guess what? He did. And I think it's time for us in Belize to tell the reigning aristocrats, Baba, you're going to very soon be an aristocrat, because we are going to do something to make the positive changes for future generations. If we don't do it, then who will?
Right. Well, here's the deal, and this is where it all breaks down. The Trump victory was a victory for, and it's funny to say, but a victory for the small man.
Yes.
The man who is working 9 to 5, the man who is seeking to put his children through school, and it was a defeat of the elitist. Basically, what the elitism that came with the Obama-Clinton era. So,
but even with the Republican era, because it's not just the
yes, I mean he fought the establishment
problem
on both sides.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Again, and you made the comment that he's not the best thing since sliced bread. There are certain things that a lot of people have fear of. If he has the discipline to carry through and do what he's supposed to do without getting carried away with his own personal agenda and his own ego. And this is something that we're going to have to watch, because right now what is surfacing, besides the good things that we hear, the 100-day agenda to me is a good thing. It's welcome news.
Yes.
The rollback of TPP is welcome news for me as an economist. I look at it not only from the point of view of the United States, but also from the Belizean point of view. If we should ever get our act together, this helps us. But when Trump puts forward that he is not going to be confined by tradition and that he will be operating his business at the same time being the leader of the free world, then that to me is dangerous.
Yeah, a little conflict of interest can
very much but not only on the surface of it being a conflict of interest, but here it is. One of the abuses that Trump was talking about in terms of his visa abuses,
yes,
is being practiced by him at Mar-a-Lago and Doral, where he is using immigrant labor to work at his country club and golf courses. This was brought up during the campaign, and he didn't deny it, he didn't refute it. He said, basically, I'm using the law as it stands. So if you're using the law as it stands, you're saying that you want to run your business and you also want to be the leader of the free world. Where does it break down? Where do you divide and say, I am going to stop these abuses, but still I want to make my profits?
I really think that can happen. And I think it can happen because we're not dealing with a country like Belize. We're dealing with a system where you do have checks and balances. You do have the Republicans in the Senate and the House, and you do have Nancy Pelosi over there in the House. So, you do have situations and hawks, the watchdog groups, that are there to make sure they keep him in check. I'm telling you, they will keep him in check. So I really am not worried about that. You're dealing with a system that's already there. And, I wish we had at least 1/10 of that type of a system in Belize, because we have people that are walking around, coming to government flat broke, repairing washing machines and stuff like that, and end up with
pool tables
and end up with a whole bunch of houses. I mean, I don't get that one. But anyway, that's going to go.
You know what, gentlemen? We're going to go to a short ad break. But when we come back, I want to hear from you. If you think our government of Belize should start doing anything, start positioning themselves in any way, I want you to lean towards the fact that President-elect Trump said they're going to start. He wants to instead negotiate fair bilateral trade deals. And so I want to hear from you, but I want to hear what you would suggest to the government of Belize as it regards President-elect Trump's intention to withdraw from this Trade Pacific Partnership. Stay tuned.
When constructing, follow proper electrical standards and use designs that allow natural lighting. Save energy, save money. This message brought to you by Belize Electricity Limited. Stronger. Faster. Comfortable. Affordable. and powered by the trusted Cummins ISF 2.8-liter turbo diesel engine. We changed the way the game is played. The new Photon tunneling truck and View CS2 van. Available at Universal Hardware. Photon, the game changer is here.
Come and dine at our Belizean-owned restaurant for your hunger cravings. We offer a variety of fried and grilled finger foods and local dishes. We also do catering and host small socials and children's parties. Enjoy a relaxing and safe environment with your family and friends at affordable prices with excellent customer service. We are located at Mile 1 on the Philip Golson Highway across from Gonzalo Quinto and Sons. Call us at 667-2200 for orders and deliveries. Cravings, where patience equals fresh food.
This year's holiday season, we're doubling reasons to share a chair and have some fun. Let's double your chair with Western Union. Double the laughter, double the feeling, double excitement, double the season. Start sending to your loved ones. Let's double your chair with Western Union.
'Tis the season for sending and winning with Western Union. Send or receive any qualifying money transfer through December 31 and be automatically entered for a chance to win double your transaction amount up to a weekly $250 prize. This is doubling your Christmas cheer. This is Western Union, moving money for better. Complete rules at participating agent locations.
Buying or selling land can be a daunting experience. Don't leave things to chance. When buying or selling land in Belize, seek the professional real estate services of Moya Shepherd and Company Limited. Benefit from our extensive local and international real estate network to find your dream home or to move your property from selling to sold. We are located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway. Give us a call at 223-4465 or visit us at www.realestatebz.com.
You are watching music videos, new movies, and live shows. Channel 9, only on the Belize Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to the Zenaida Moya Show. I am your host, Zenaida, and we have with us economist and attorney Arthur Saldivar and Professor Patrick Menzies. Gentlemen, I asked you before we went to break if there's anything that you think the government of Belize can or ought to be thinking about doing as it regards to this proposed withdrawing from the Pacific Trade, Trans-Pacific Partnership. Now, we wanted to deal with it in a trade policy manner. Is there anything?
Well, again, I think at this juncture, there's not much the government can do. One would want, given what this means to the private sector, that the Chamber of Commerce would have some input and idea